It's 1957. The Soviet Union has just launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite in history. But instead of the news crawling slowly across radio and newspapers, imagine a single viral tweet. The USSR just conquered space before the USA within minutes. The entire world is in shock. Hashtags like #SputnikShock and #WhereIsAmerica dominate global feeds. American citizens rage at their government, demanding answers. Politicians panic. Scientists trend like celebrities. Now, here's the question. If social media had existed during the space race, would America have reached the moon even faster? Or would the entire race collapse under the weight of propaganda, misinformation, and global pressure? Let's break it down. A quick recap. Before imagining the alternate timeline, we need to ground ourselves in history. The space race began in the late 1950s during the Cold War, as the USA and USSR competed for technological dominance. In 1957, the USSR shocked the world with Sputnik 1, the first satellite. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space. The United States, feeling humiliated, poured billions into NASA. Finally, in 1969, America landed Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon. This race wasn't just about science, it was about ideology. Communism versus capitalism. East versus West. A battle for hearts, minds, and global dominance. But what if Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook had existed in this era? How social media would change the shock of Sputnik. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, Americans found out through newspapers and evening radio. The fear grew slowly. Now imagine instead, instant memes mocking America's backwardness. Viral videos of Soviet school children cheering as rockets roar into the sky. American parents posting, "If the Soviets can send satellites over our heads, what's stopping them from dropping bombs too?" The US government, embarrassed in front of millions, would have no choice but to accelerate NASA funding immediately. Public pressure would skyrocket, not over years, but overnight. Result? The US might move into overdrive earlier, cutting years off their timeline. Propaganda wars go viral. Both superpowers used propaganda heavily. With social media, that propaganda becomes instant, global, and emotional. The USSR would post glossy TikToks of Gagarin smiling in zero gravity. First man in space, thanks to socialism. The US would counter with inspirational YouTube speeches from Kennedy. "We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy." Hashtags like #race to the stars and #moon or bust dominate feeds. But here's the twist. Propaganda also creates misinformation. Fake leaks, false launches, doctored photos. Millions wouldn't know what's real. One viral fake could derail trust completely. Would the world believe Neil Armstrong actually landed on the moon? Or would conspiracy hashtags trend even in 1969? Scientists as social media celebrities. In our timeline, astronauts were heroes on TV. With social media, they'd be global influencers. Imagine Yuri Gagarin live streaming from orbit. "I see the Earth. It is blue." Or Neil Armstrong posting an Instagram selfie in his spacesuit with the caption, "Next stop, the moon." Rocket scientists like Wernher von Braun become Twitter famous, answering questions live. This public connection would inspire millions of kids to study science earlier, potentially boosting innovation speed worldwide. But fame has a cost. Every rocket failure would be shared instantly, humiliating entire nations. Cold War espionage in the digital age. The space race was also a spy race. Both sides stole secrets, sabotaged projects, and spread rumors. With the internet, hackers would leak rocket designs online. Spy agencies would plant fake news to humiliate rivals. Entire Facebook groups could be fronts for Soviet or CIA disinformation campaigns. This could either push faster progress or create chaos that slows everything down. Civil rights, Vietnam, and the space race online. Here's where things get complicated. In the 1960s, the US faced civil rights protests, the Vietnam War, and poverty. Many Americans questioned why billions were being spent on space while inequality raged on Earth. With social media, viral posts of poverty-stricken families alongside NASA rocket launches could spark outrage. Hashtags like #FixEarthFirst or #CivilRightsOverSpace could trend. Activists like Martin Luther King Jr. might livestream speeches linking racial equality to America's image in space. This could pressure the government to cut NASA's budget, slowing the moon landing. Would the moon landing happen earlier? So, with all this chaos, would America land earlier? Let's weigh it. Why it might happen earlier. Viral humiliation forces quicker funding. Scientists and astronauts inspire millions. Competition intensifies daily with public watching. Why it might happen later. Social activism diverts money away. Misinformation erodes trust. Political chaos from protests and fake leaks destabilizes the race. The truth? Social media amplifies everything. Pressure, pride, fear, and doubt. The race becomes not just about rockets, but about who controls the global narrative. The moon landing online, July 20th, 1969. Neil Armstrong steps onto the moon. But this time, billions don't wait for TV replay. They watch it live on their phones. The first selfie from the lunar surface goes viral instantly. Yet at the same time, conspiracy hashtags trend. #FakeMoonLanding. Soviet accounts flood Twitter claiming it's staged. Millions argue in real time whether it's real. Social media makes the moment both more historic and more divisive. Beyond the moon, would Mars come sooner? If social media had kept the space race burning, maybe America wouldn't stop at the moon. Public pressure might push NASA to go further, Mars by the 1980s. Or public skepticism and endless online fights might burn out the dream early. By the 1970s, people might decide space exploration is just a PR game, not worth the money. The double-edged sword of social media. So, would the moon landing happen earlier if social media existed? The answer? Maybe. But at a cost. Social media would accelerate funding, push scientists into the spotlight, and fuel competition. But it would also unleash conspiracy theories, political chaos, and public outrage that could easily slow progress. The real lesson? Technology changes speed, but not human nature. Whether in 1969 or today, the internet reflects our hopes, fears, and divisions. If social media had existed in the 1960s, do you think humanity would already be on Mars by now? Or would we still be arguing online about whether the moon landing was fake?